Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon Super Coach Show. I'm coming to you live from Murfreesboro, Tennessee at the Burt Center. We're going to multiply your life, multiply your money, multiply your business today. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. You can follow me at Micheal Burt on Twitter, and I'm in-house by myself today. Brock Patterson is out of the office, so I'm going to be taking you home, and we're talking about something that every person in the world needs to know. Every person in the world at some point in their life is going to have a crisis. And so today I'm gonna teach you in this show, because we believe everybody needs a coach in life. We believe 1 hour can change your life. We believe this 1 hour can have a transformative effect on your life. I'm going to teach you how not to let your crisis kill your confidence. Confidence, memory of success. Internal knowing you can create or manifest something in your life. It is knowing that you can create something even when other people say you can't. But what if you have a crisis, guys? I'm going to give you 5 rules of a crisis today, because every day, no matter how good our intentions are, there is always a departure from the ideal scene. There is always something that pulls you off your plan. We call this unwanted outcome adversity. Some adversities turn into crisis because there's a dramatic shift away from the direction that you were going to a place that you did not want to go. Now, many years ago, I wrote a book called This Ain't No Practice Life, which was a bestseller for me. And in that book, I said this: we create 90% of the adversity that we face. Yes, I said it. We create 90% of the adversity we face. We get 10% of the adversity that we didn't want, we didn't sign up for, we didn't ask for, we didn't have anything to do with. It just landed in our lap. Now, motivational speakers are going to tell you that when you have this departure from the ideal scene and you have this crisis in your life, that you're either going to get bitter or you're going to get better. Now, that's an easy way to say it, and I get it. When you have an unwanted outcome today, you're going to get better in your life or you're going to get bitter. Now, the psychologist is going to tell us that we're either going to fight or we're going to flight. We're going to stand up and fight when we meet adversity, or we're going to flee and run like a little scaredy cat. Here's what I'm here to tell you today. When you do have adversity, and you are going to have some, you probably had some today. You probably woke up to some. You probably went to bed with some last night. When you do have adversity, you know what I'm going to tell you? You need a plan, Jack. You need a plan. Many years ago, when I was a women's basketball coach, we had a season where we had very high expectations. We had a great team. We had great players. Lauren K. Hudgens was one of those players. We had high expectations. Everybody expected us to win. I thought we could win a championship. And about halfway through that season, one of our better players went down with an injury. Doc came to me and said, "Coach, she's going to be out at least 10 games. Is that a departure from the ideal scene? Yes or no?" I'm like, what? This is our perfect season. This is our Cinderella season. We got all these players. We got all these expectations. This is our year to win this whole thing. Here comes adversity, which is an unwanted outcome. So at first, when people have adversity, they pout and they whine and they feel sorry for themselves and they blame people and they want to project and obfuscate. We're going to get to that today in the 5 rules. But then I stepped back and I said, Jack, we cannot allow this adversity. We cannot allow this adversity to deter us from where we ultimately want to go. Just like you've heard me say on the Super Coach Show before, never let one person or one event keep you from going where you want to go. So I said, I have got to make a backstage sale. Now, the backstage sale is where you sell your own troops internally. The front stage sale would have been me go to the media, say, we're going to get through this. We can make it. We're going to do it. I got a plan. This is a little bit of adversity. That's the front stage sale. You see, the most important sale you're ever going to make is the backstage sale. It's the people behind the curtain. It's the people that are buying in and drinking the Kool-Aid or not drinking the Kool-Aid. It's the people it's the geese laying the golden eggs. That's the first sale you got to make. So what I said is I got to make a backstage sale here. I have to sell and convince our own troops that we can use this adversity to accelerate progress. We can actually use this adversity, this unwanted outcome, to become better in the long run. See, most people go reactive when this happens. They go reactive. So what I said is I walked into our team. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said, I got a plan. I know we've experienced some adversity. We got a crisis. Now remember, what makes a difference between adversity and a crisis is when there's a higher level of adversity that turns into some dramatic shift. A lot of people take their little bitty adversities, turn them into crises. It's like a global crisis when we can't find our cell phone. So I walked into our locker room and I said, I got a plan. I have a plan. What we're going to do is we're going to use this adversity to accelerate our progress. I said, there are people in the room who have undercapitalized assets, who have been sitting on the sidelines waiting on our best player to step up and perform. You have the goods. We can do this. So I said, hey, we've departed from the ideal scene. This is adversity. It's an unwanted outcome. I have a plan. Now, what that plan is what I became known as the 5 rules of a crisis, because you cannot let your crisis kill your swag. So today we're going to talk about these 5 on the Super Coach Show. When you have a crisis, personally or professionally, I want you to go directly to these 5 things anytime you have a crisis. Now, you know what a good super coach will do, don't you? They're going to multiply you to superhuman levels, but they're also always going to find the kryptonite in your life. This is the one thing that's holding you back, and in every segment I give you a little kryptonite, so let me give you kryptonite number 1. Here's the deal, guys. You don't have a plan. So small crises in your life turn into dramatic crises every single time. You get sidelined so easily, and you stay down so long. If that's a problem for you today, today's show is perfect for you. I don't know what you're going through in life, but I'm telling you today, and these 5 rules are going to make your life a whole lot easier, because when you get an unwanted outcome, when you get a departure from the ideal scene, let me tell you what you're going to have today. You're going to have a plan. You're watching a Super Coach Show. Follow me at Micheal Burt. When we come back in segment number 2, I'm going to give you the first 2 rules of a crisis, and we're going to keep on moving this ball down the field. 2015 is the year of the monster. I'm talking about a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. You see, I got a new coaching program, and I'm looking for people who want to have a monster year. Once a month coaching program for 3 hours with other like-minded monsters in a structured environment with key measurable outcomes and lots of accountability. You see, the monster coaching program is coming, and we've already got 22 monsters signed up. Will you be in the class? Are you somewhere else in the country? No worries. We'll be live streaming this with workshops every month online. You can come into Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where our monsters will be every single month for 3 hours. We also have 2 destination summits, 1 in New York City in April and 1 in Cabo San Lucas in the fall, and then a big celebration. If you're interested in being a monster, come on and join us. You get the Monster Producer Planner, you get the book, you get the app, and you get me coaching the heck out of you to be a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market in 2015. Go to monsterproducer.com. Hey, welcome back to the Super Coach Show. I'm Micheal Burt. Follow me at Micheal Burt, Micheal, because everybody needs a coach in life on Twitter from great content every single week. I'm here to do 3 things: multiply your life, your money, and your business. And you can listen to this podcast every week on iTunes, Podcast Republic, and my new favorite app, Stitcher Radio. Man, that's a bad app right there, I'm going to tell you. Today we're talking 5 rules of a crisis. Don't ever let your crises kill your swag, kill your confidence. My 10th book was Swag. 6 battle-tested strategies to build and protect your confidence, because it's either your greatest asset or it's your greatest liability. Now, let's review. Chapter 1 of this book that I just talked about and wrote is real simple. There will be a departure from the ideal scene in your life. When you do depart, you're going to get bitter, you're going to get better. You're going to fight, you're going to flight. I like to come up swinging when there's a departure from the ideal scene. What most people do is they let a little bitty crisis turn into a dramatic shift off where they want to go. So most psychologists tell you you're going to fight, you're going to flee. The motivational speakers tell you, hey, you're going to get bitter, you're going to get better. Here's what Coach Burt's going to give you, a real plan. When you do have adversity, I'm going to give you a real plan. 5 rules of a crisis. I talk about this in my book, best-selling book, This Ain't No Practice Life, How to Go From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. Wrote that puppy many years ago, but I'm telling you, it's got some good stuff in it. Now let's look at number 1. Rule number 1. I want you to think for a second about what a person does when they have some unwanted outcomes. What do you think most people do? Most people, they complain, they whine, they feel sorry, they obfuscate, which means to skirt around the truth. They don't want to direct it. Their emotional tough is not that hard. Here's what most people do. They ask this question, why me? Why is this happening to me? They'll say things like, I work hard. I'm a good person. Why does this have to happen to me? They say things like, why couldn't this happen to a sorry person? Why couldn't this happen to a person that does other people wrong? In essence, what they do is they become a victim. They play the victim card. Why me? Why does it have to happen to me? What they should do is replace the question, this is the big point, with why me, with what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to teach me? Remember, 90% of the messes we get ourselves into, we had a direct hand in giving. We created the mess. Einstein even said this, the significant problems we face in the world cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. You know, today on Facebook, follow me by searching Coach Micheal Burt, I posted out that every Sunday, Steve Jobs took a walk with his business coach, Bill Campbell, and they talked every Sunday. What does it tell you that a billionaire has a business coach? What does it tell you that every week he met with his coach? What does it tell you? Here's what it tells me. Number 1, we can't solve the problems we create at the same level of thinking we create them. We need an outside perspective. The word enlighten means to shine light on darkness. That's why we need another coach. That's why we need another perspective. That's why we need a super coach in our life. Have conversations with us we don't want to have. Make us do things we don't want to do. So step 1, when you have a crisis, replace this question. Just get rid of it. Quit asking, why me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? When you remember that we create 90% of the adversity and you say, I didn't create some of the adversity I face. Sometimes you create adversity by not making a decision. You think life is about choices, it's about actions, it's about consequences. What happens to when we don't make a choice, when we don't take an action? Inaction is just as deadly and dreadful as taking action sometimes. So we create the adversity we face, so replace question 1, why me? What's this trying to teach me? Next time you have some adversity, remember this. Not why me, what's this trying to teach me? Step number 2. Ask this big question, what did I do to create this mess that I'm currently in? And if you will be brutally honest with yourself, just like I've had to in my life, you will backtrack, you will figure out, oh yeah, I made a bad decision. That bad decision had some consequences to it. I made a poor decision, made an emotional decision. You see, I look at it like this. If we're unhealthy later in life, because of the junk food we consume early in life, should it be no surprise that we end up somewhere in life that we don't want? Now, here's been an interesting trend I've seen lately. I've coached some people in their mid-50s, 60 years old. I say, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And you know what they tell me? Coach, I don't have the energy to do that. I don't have the energy to go do what you're asking me to do. And I made a note one day, and I said this, I don't ever want to not have the energy when I'm in my midlife because of poor decisions I made between 20 and 40. Now, I want you to think about that. When you get out and walk at night for exercise, when you go to the gym in the morning, when you think about what you're putting in your body, you don't want to be 55 years old and say, you know what, I need to do something. I don't have enough energy to play with my grandkids. I don't have enough energy to go to work like I need to. I don't have enough energy to get on the phone and make phone calls. I don't have enough energy. We created the adversity. We created it by poor decisions that we make. My great-grandfather died as he got a little bit older, and when I started backtracking why he died, well, he went for a period of his time when he was 20 to 30 years old, and he smoked cigarettes all the time, smoking cigarettes. He stopped smoking cigarettes in his late 30s and did not smoke another cigarette for the rest of his life. So when he died in his 70s, here's my question. Could he have lived 10 more years if he wouldn't have made the decision to smoke cigarettes in his 20s and 30s? See, we create the adversity. When you have a departure from the ideal scene in your personal life, instead of blaming other people, you need to ask, what did I do to create this mess? If you're facing hardship right now, instead of blaming other people, taking, number one, why me? You need to say, what did I do? What did I do in a moment of weakness? What did I do when my confidence was eroded? What did I do when I didn't have a good mind, when I got emotional? What did I do to create this mess? You feel like you're going to church today because we're all preaching to the choir. We've all made bad decisions. We've all put ourselves in bad places. So let me give you some kryptonite to make sure that you don't have this one happen to you. When crisis does hit, you don't have a self-awareness of how you created it, and you project onto everybody else. You never ask the big question, what did I do to create this mess? Today on Super Coach, we're talking the 5 rules of a crisis, because here's what I can't do. If crisis is your kryptonite, if crisis is the one thing, if you take a little bitty crisis, you ever heard of the saying, some people take an inch and they stretch it to a mile? That's what some people do with a little bitty crisis. It goes from here to here. It's dramatic. It eats away all of your energy. It consumes your time and energy, and we can't let that happen today. When we come back in segment number 3, we're going to talk about what you do in step 3, 4, and 5 when you have a crisis in your life. Don't let it consume you, and don't let it kill your swag. You're watching the Super Coach, and I'm Micheal Burt. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt here. I believe everybody needs a coach in life, and that's why I'm inviting you to join me in the Big Apple, baby. The monster city on the planet, New York City, April 17th and 18th. Spend 2 days in an immersion type experience with me at my Monster Producer Summit. I'm going to teach you the 7 frameworks of a monster producer. I'm going to teach you how to take monster action, a monster explanation of services, monster selling system, how to get monster attention, how to keep your monster swag, and ultimately how to build a monster enterprise. For $499, join me at the Sheraton, New York City, Times Square for 2 days, 8 hours. Spend some personal time with Coach if you're serious about being a legendary creature this year that dominates every field by combining multiple skill sets. Go to CoachBurt.com or email us at info@CoachBurt.com to sign up for $499, 2 days with me. This will be a monster experience. Welcome back to Super Coach Show every Tuesday, 3 p.m. exclusively on the Whatever It Takes Network. Come on and join me. If you want to be a freaking monster producer, legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market, if you're interested in joining me in New York City, April 17th and the 18th, come on, info@CoachBurt.com. Call our offices, 615-225-8380. Come on and spend 2 days with me, $499. It's going to be the best money that you ever spent, because we're going to teach you how to be a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. That's straight out of my Monster Producer coaching program. And if you're real serious, or serial, if you're real serious, then join me for the real deal. For the one-year coaching program, we have people all over the world. Australia are on the program. We got people in California, North Carolina, Mississippi. You can sign up at CoachBurt.com or MonsterProducer.com. Click on Monster Producer. Today we're talking 5 rules of a crisis. You think a monster has a crisis? You better believe it. You see, monsters wake up and have big, juicy problems. They have big, juicy motivation. They don't get caught up in majoring in the minors. Too many people get caught up in small, petty drama. I have a phrase for that. It's called majoring in the minors. So today we're talking 5 rules of a crisis, how not to ever let your crisis, your confidence, be crushed by your crisis. How can you actually gain confidence through a crisis? How can you accelerate through a crisis? You know the story I told you earlier, my team, we actually won 10 out of 11 games during that crisis when my best player went out. Made us stronger, man. Made us stronger because we used this adversity to accelerate, to shoot out. So I've given you 2 points so far. Number 1, quit asking why me. When you have adversity in your life, quit playing the victim card, quit rolling over, quit playing dead, man. Little puppy dogs play dead. Okay? Animals play dead, so people will leave them alone. Quit playing dead. Nothing alive can live with the dead. Number 2, I said, ask this question. What did you do to create this mess? Remember, Einstein said we cannot solve the same level of problems we created at the same level of thinking we created them. In good old Tennessee language, that just means whatever got you in this mess will not get you out of this mess. Number 3, one of my favorites right here, you got to get stable. When we have a crisis, many people become very emotional and irrational. Here's what I want to say to you today about emotion. Your feelings make lousy leaders. Your feelings will tell you things that are not true. At night before you go to bed, when you're lonely and you're thinking about making a phone call to somebody, that's your feelings talking. You wake up in the morning like, hell no, I shouldn't have made that phone call. You know why? Now, rationale is talking. When you've been drinking, emotions are talking. Your feelings are talking. You make poor decisions. You say things that you shouldn't say. You know why? Emotions are talking. They make lousy leaders. So when you're going through a crisis, you got to get stable. Okay? Now think about this. We buy what we're selling and we make poor decisions because we can't distinguish between our emotions and fact. We can't distinguish between our emotions and fact. Emotion is momentum that can lead you in one direction or another. I know some people that are up here some, and then they're down here. They're totally inconsistent depending on what day. Sometimes they're loving life. Sometimes they're hating life. So the third thing you got to do is you got to get stable. Our first move should be to get stable versus make decisions in irrational or emotional states. Now, here's the deal. Many times due to emotion, we do and say things that are unhealthy. Many times due to our feelings, we do things, we overextend, we overreach, we create drama. We try to draw attention, which goes back to number 1. Not why me, what's this trying to teach me? Number 2, what did I do to create this? Oh yeah, I lost my mind for a little bit, and that's why I created this mess. I got lonely, and that's why I made a bad phone call. I got out drinking, and I made poor decisions. That's why, because we're not stable, guys. We ain't stable. And so when you think about this, I want to say this. It's $1 million statement. If you don't get another thing from what I say today in this Super Coach Show, get this one. When we're low on confidence, we always go back to old habits in new ways. We go backward. We revert. We contract. We retreat. And let me tell you what we're doing. We're going back to where we feel accepted versus where we think we'll be rejected. That's why when you go through a breakup, you know what you do? You call an old girlfriend, man. You call an old boyfriend. You go back to where you think somebody will accept you versus reject you. Because you won't go out into the world because you ain't confident. Stable people say, no, I can't do this. Bad decision. Not good for me. Not good for my future. Emotional people make poor decisions. I know because I made them. I go back to old habits in new ways. We all do. So the third thing you got to do is you got to get stable. Now let me give you number 4. Number 4 is you got to get some help. Our pride many times will not allow us to seek and listen to the counsel of other people. We won't reach out. We won't get a shoulder to cry on. We won't take counsel. We won't heed advice. We believe when we create mistakes that, here's a cycle that I use when I make mistakes. Number 1, recognize that you made one. This is going to sound very familiar in just a second. When you get irrational and emotional and make a poor decision, here's what you got to do. You got to get help. First, recognize that you made a mistake. Number 2, admit that you made a mistake. Number 3, learn from the mistake. Number 4, move on from the mistake. Forget it. Move on. Quit living in the past. I see lots of people struggle as a coach, but very few will reach out and get some help. So you know what they do? They just keep failing. They just keep failing. Now, let me give you some kryptonite before we get out of here, and I'm going to get you into segment number 4. Today, we're having a lot of fun talking about the 5 rules of a crisis. Don't let a crisis kill your confidence. Number 3 kryptonite's this. You live in an emotional state that is weak in nature. You let your feelings dominate your life, which makes you unstable. You always go back to old habits in new ways. When you think about this, I know a lot of people that are emotional. It seems like I know a lot of people that are unstable. And you know why? Emotions lead their life. Feelings. How do they feel? They don't feel like going to work today. Just won't go. Don't feel like bouncing back from adversity. Just won't do it. Don't feel like making phone calls. Just don't do it. Don't feel like calling people back. Just don't do it. Don't matter. See, when you see success as your duty and obligation and responsibility to the people you care about, your kids, your family, it don't matter how you feel. It don't matter how you feel. You still show up every single day. Today we're talking 5 rules of a crisis. You're watching a Super Coach show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Tweet me at Micheal Burt if you're watching the show right here on the Whatever It Takes Network. Hi, I'm Coach Micheal Burt. I'm the Super Coach. That's a cross between a former championship coach who has an entrepreneurial mind. You know, I started coaching at 15 years old, was coaching at a large high school at 19, and a head coach by 22. By 31, we'd won a championship in over 220 games for about an 80% winning record. Along the journey, I learned some key important things that can help you as a coach out there. I put most of that in a book called The Anatomy of Winning with Coach Rick Insale, 10-time championship coach and Hall of Fame coach. Also put it into a book called The Inspirational Leader, How to Be a Leader People Choose to Follow versus Have to Follow. And my very first book I wrote at 25 years old, Changing Lives Through Coaching, because I think a good coach can change your life. As coaches, guys, we want our players to get better. Here's my question to you. When's the last time you got better? Pick up a copy of any of my books at CoachBurt.com. Welcome back to the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. We come to you every Tuesday live from the big city of Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, coming to you on the Whatever It Takes Network. You can listen to us or download this, the Super Coach Show, on iTunes, podcasts, my favorite app, Stitcher Radio. You can do that, or you can watch us every single week right here on Whatever It Takes. We come to you every week to do 3 things. We multiply your life, your money, and your business. And we do what a good coach will do. We have conversations with you don't want to have. I feel like it's what I'm doing today. I'm having a conversation with you don't want to have, because you may be the emotional cat out there that takes a little bitty, what is it called, a molehill, and turn it into a mountain. That's what you do. You take a little crisis and turn it into a big crisis. You take a little drama, turn it into big drama. When you have a departure from the ideal scene, you need a plan. Motivational speakers say, hey, get better, get better. I get it. Fight or flight psychology. Here's what I'll tell you. When you do have this problem, you better have a plan, and that's what I'm giving you today, the 5 rules of a crisis. Now, if you're interested in being coached by me personally, Coach Micheal Burt, it's real simple. We have a corporate membership that you can sign up for as low as $99 every single month. Workshops come right into your house. You get an email from me every single week, and you get good workshops on topics just like this. Matter of fact, this is a good topic for us to do one on. 5 rules of a crisis. Go to CoachBurt.com, click on memberships, $99 a month. If you want to come in person, $199 a month. You off to the races, and you get me. You don't get somebody else. You don't get another trainer. You get Coach Micheal Burt, and that's part of our deal. Now, today we're talking 5 rules of a crisis. Don't let your swag be affected by your crisis. Crisis, unwanted outcome. Departure from the ideal scene. What do you do when you have it? I've given you 4 rules. Number 1, replace the question, why me? What's this trying to teach me is what you should be saying. Number 2, what did I do to create this mess? Number 3, get stable, because emotions are lousy leaders. Number 4, better get some help. It's why you need a coach in your life. Number 5, you better get busy. You better get busy. Significance. Notice I didn't say success. To me, there's a big difference between success and significance. Significance follows 4 things: action, energy, circulation, and movement. It never follows stagnation, atrophy, complacency, laziness. Significance never follows those things. Significance follows you getting off your hind end and moving. Moving where? In the direction of your dreams. What does Thoreau say? If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live a life that only he can imagine, he'll meet with success unexpected in common hours. Notice Thoreau doesn't say if one advances meagerly or weak or scared or retreats. He says if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams. If swag was a word, he said if one advances with some swag in the direction of his dreams, that's forward momentum toward what you see in your mind. So number 5, once you got help, you got to get busy. You have got to get busy. Get busy means to quit living in the past. Never let your past hold your future hostage. You know, I was at the gym this morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, dragged myself out at 4:30. And one of my buddies at the gym on the way out asked me about a young lady that was on my very first TV show of Zebras and Cheetahs. And I thought it was odd. I was like, why do you want to know about that young lady? Christy Neal was her name. She won episode 1 of Zebras and Cheetahs. And he said, that girl, she went through a very difficult divorce, didn't she? And I said, yes, she did. He said, she cheated on somebody, on her husband, with somebody in the church. Is that right? I said, yep, that's right. She went to church every Sunday. She's involved in the congregation. I said, yep, that's right. After she came out and said she was cheated, many people turned their back on her. She got a lot of negativity from within the church and on outside of the church. She went through this big divorce, so she wrote a book called A Letter from Scarlet, like the Scarlet Letter. I don't think the book's out yet, but he said to me that same scenario happened to me and my wife. In the church, 2 kids, cheated on me with somebody else from the church, and we've gone through this divorce. Never even knew it. Work out with the guy every Tuesday and Thursday. Never said a word about it. And I said, man, I'm so sorry. Is that a departure from the ideal scene, yes or no? You better believe it. 2 kids involved, that's a departure from the ideal scene. Here's the deal. Now he told me this morning, he said, look, I have made up my mind. I've been living with this for 2 years. It is now time for me to get busy. I'm not living in the past anymore, Coach. It happened. We've tried to work it out for 2 years. There has been no change in behavior from her. We have got to move on. He is getting busy. Here's what I tell you. Live it, grieve it, leave it. Live it, go through it, grieve it fast, leave it behind. Check your problems at the gate. Over, past. Past is finite, future is infinite. Past is finite, fixed, can't change it. Future, unlimited, holds unlimited possibility. Live it, grieve it, leave it. Remember that. Those 3 things you need to remember. To get busy means you bring a relentless pursuit and approach to what you do and how you do it every day. You don't wallow in self-pity. You quit feeling sorry for yourself, okay? You don't wallow in self-pity. You don't relive the drama over and over and over. You get busy. The cure, this is the cure for the common life. Max Lucado, the great preacher, wrote the book Cure for the Common Life. I guarantee you one of the things it says in that book, get busy. Get busy. Quit living in the past. The cure is not to relive the past over and over and over. This is where the good stuff is. Let me give you some kryptonite, and then I'm going to recap and get you out of here. Here's kryptonite number 4. This could be what's stopping you. You won't get busy. You're laying around on the couch. You're living in the past, and you're stuck there. You know you're stuck there. You're stuck there in your demeanor. You're stuck there in your approach. You're stuck there in your mindset. You're uncoachable and you're unwilling to shift, therefore leaving you complacent and stagnant. That's your kryptonite, guys. I know people that got knocked down 20 years ago. They had something happen to them 20 years ago. They got divorced. They had an unwanted outcome. They went through a challenge in their life. They didn't get the job that they wanted. They didn't get the promotion they wanted. And you know what they did? Instead of saying, what is this trying to teach me? They said, why me? Instead of asking, what did they do to contribute to it? They blamed it on everybody else. Instead of getting stable, they stayed emotional, irrational, which put them into all kinds of worse scenarios. They didn't get any help because they were so stubborn and prideful. And they never, ever got busy. And you know what? They've never grown from that. Live it, grieve it, leave it. Recognize it, admit it, learn from it, and by all means, for the love of goodness, move on. The world is called, your potential called. It's been looking for you. Says it's tired of you feeling sorry for yourself and pouting all the time. Says it's ready for you to come alive like never. Nothing alive can live with the dead. Book it, mark it down, remember it. If you want to have life, that's what the word inspire means, breathe life into. If you want to have life, you cannot live in the past. Today we've been talking the 5 rules of a crisis. I've had a lot of fun coaching you today. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. A good coach will have conversations with you don't want to have that make you do some things you don't want to do, but boy, they'll help you become something you didn't think you could become. Follow us on Stitcher, at Twitter, at Micheal Burt. Search me, Coach Micheal Burt. Come join me in New York City, baby, and I'll give you a little bit more dose of these 5 rules of a crisis. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Have a great week. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt here. I believe everybody needs a coach in life, and that's why I'm inviting you to join me in the Big Apple, baby. The Monster City on the planet, New York City, April 17th and 18th. Spend 2 days in an immersion type experience with me at my Monster Producer Summit. I'm going to teach you the 7 frameworks of a monster producer. I'm going to teach you how to take monster action, a monster explanation of services, monster selling system, how to get monster attention, how to keep your monster swag, and ultimately how to build a monster enterprise. For $499, join me at the Sheraton, New York City, Times Square for 2 days, 8 hours. Spend some personal time with Coach if you're serious about being a legendary creature this year that dominates every field by combining multiple skill sets. Go to CoachBurt.com or email us at info@CoachBurt.com to sign up at $499, 2 days with me. This will be a monster experience.